I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we do have a quorum. Tom Winslow is present, Elaine Daly, Aileen McNabb-Coleman, Ben Vitale, and myself. I'll entertain a motion for minutes to approve October 9th, 2020.
I'll move them.
Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. We have a list of appointments, Cayuga County, Cayuga Cortland Workforce Development Board. Jessica Pelosi and Nancy Sullivan. We will approve them at the end of the month. So first department update, Gary Terwilliger.
Good evening. Just want to first say, I do not at all envy the position you guys are all in with the street permit. And I know it's very, very tough. Are going to be difficult to try to reallocate those duties. So we'll have to have conversations at the beginning of the year on what work gets done, what work doesn't get done, whether we're still able to bring in revenue working with our municipalities and helping parks and other departments with grants. I don't know. So we will see how this budget process plays out. Again, I do not at all envy the position that you're in, but this would be tough for us. This time last year, I had 8 staff. And in January, with this tentative budget, I will have 4. And 2 of those are specialized staff that I cannot allocate work from the 2 that would leave to. They're specialized titles. Okay, so anyway, to be determined in January on what we do. I do have some exciting things I want to share with you guys tonight. Hopefully, you may have noticed on your way in. If not, I encourage you on your way out today to stop. As part of the public outreach for the county strategic plan, staff has put up handmade, decorated, minor burns, a tree for the Festival of Trees that is geared towards the strategic plan for the county. It includes a little station to encourage people to learn more about the plan, fill out our survey, leave it for us. I have a slight show and tell. There's a different version of this. That's our tree topper. One of my staff took the vision that was in my head more than a year ago when we wrote the grant application of the county being a 33-piece puzzle that we all fit and work together to prosper together. So this is part of our tree topper. We also blew it up and labeled it with all the municipalities and made individual tree ornaments for everyone on the tree. So excited that they were able to take what was in my head and make it a reality.
Very nice. Thank you.
So please, everyone stop and take a look at the tree. Our second survey is going to be open through the evening of December 11th, when I will be swapping the survey out for survey number 3. So anyone who comes and does Festival of Trees between now and December 11th will be taking survey number 2. It is available online. We do have rack cards out there for anyone who wants to do the QR code and do it online. And then survey number 3 will open on December 12th. And we'll go from there. You'll have my report. I don't have hard numbers yet, but Evan he'll let me know that both our electronics waste and our household hazardous waste collection events went very, very well this year. Huge thank you again to Brian Soper and his team for hosting our satellite sites up in the Ira Highway Garage and Venice Highway Garage. They saw even more electronics returned at those 2 locations than we did last year. Attendance in Auburn was a little bit down, but attendance at those 2 locations was up, so that's good. We're serving more people and making it more convenient for them across the county. I don't have any resolutions for you this month. I know. We'll have at least one next month, probably two, our annual contracts and our annual, grant application to DEC for the reimbursement of at least 50% of our HHW fee. So I'll have those for you next month.
Any questions for Carrie? No? Thank you. Kelly.
As Bob mentioned, I do have two appointments I'll mention briefly. And we're pretty excited. I was one of the first and few of county people, a county person, to do a tour of the expansion of Cayuga Milk Ingredients, which was really cool. I'd actually never been in the original plant, but to go through that and then go through the expansion, it's incredible. It's beautiful, and the way they have it designed, it's very open, and eventually I think they're gonna have tours where you can look in and look at the way that they're producing, and it was pretty amazing. And doing that, they had reached out to me because of their expansion. They have a huge need to fill a lot of openings, and they came to me, and we've been able to fill very quickly, probably at least maybe 15 openings, which is a lot. And also they hired 3 of our youth. So that's even more exciting. There are 3 youth in our program that we've been working with on workforce development skills, and they interviewed and now they're working for them, and it's a $22 an hour job. So it's pretty good. That partnership led to Jessica Colozzi agreeing and wanting to be on the workforce development board. So I did submit that appointment. She's the one of the HR professionals at CMI. And then also the same day, meeting with Nucor Steel, Nancy Sullivan, who is the HR person at Nucor. She's going to also be on the board, and I submitted her appointment letter. So 2 large Cayuga County employers now will be appointed newly to the Workforce Development Board, which is amazing. So I have that as a highlight. And other than that, a lot of business engagement. Again, this month, businesses are reaching out to me more than probably ever. So it's not just job seeker heavy, but it's business and employer heavy as well. So the whole goal and mission of employment and training obviously is to match those 2 together. So when you're heavy in one and not the other, the alignment's not great. But now we have both. So we're seeing a lot of job placements happening in the community when they go back to work using our services. Other than that, I'm happy to answer questions. I do have 2 resolutions tonight. The first one, PL1, is authorizing the chair to sign the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Local Plan. So every area within the state has to have a local plan. It's required for our services and program. It's also required to be signed by the chair. It's done every 5 years. It's up for, signature. Basically, that outlines what our goals and missions are and how it relates to the state and regional plan, which is they have to align, and then how the Workforce Development Board is going to maintain policy to meet all of the goals that we have to meet. So that is PL1.
I'll entertain a motion to PL1.
All of it.
Second.
Is there anything different in the 5-year plan? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I just wondered if.
It's very similar to the last 5-year plan, except for the demand occupations typically change based on need of, employers in the area. There's a heavier focus and concentration on manufacturing and agriculture, but it's submitted with resolution. It's pretty similar, but there is definitely more of a push on the trades and manufacturing in this plan.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. PL2?
Okay. PL2 is essentially authorizing a transfer of funds within my budget. I am looking to transfer funds from the contractual line into seasonal employees. Seasonal salaries, I always think that it seems a little bit confusing. That's our youth program, essentially. We have 3 youth programs. Paid work experience is one of the components, and that's where the funding comes from, is the seasonal salaries. We now have greater enrollment, higher enrollment in our youth program. So we need to move money from contractuals to seasonal so that we can continue to pay our kids and our paid work experience is all that is. Again, it's reimbursed 100% grant funded.
I'll move it.
Second,
Okay.
anyone? Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know you're next.
Oh, yeah.
Dan Welch.
So first of all, my apologies that you didn't get my report ahead of time. Had a little technical glitch with the email end of last week. Just a couple highlights. We started enrollment for 4-H 2025-2026 year. Enrollment's already up 20% as compared to last year. So we're really happy about the growth that we're seeing in our 4-H program and increasing the number of youth that we're reaching through that. We started 2 new staff-led clubs. Kind of the model for 4-H has been volunteer-led clubs since the 4-H program started at the beginning of the 20th century. People aren't volunteering as much, so we're moving to more of a staff-led model. So we've got one in Moravia, one in Auburn, and then we're starting another group focusing on fiber arts and things like crocheting with the folks from So What on Seminary Street here in Auburn. And then the other thing, we had a program up at Sterling Nature Center on growing lab-grown mushrooms, shiitake mushrooms. Program was well attended. Had a little hiccup with the power up there that day because of some of the wind, but got through that and had a successful workshop. So happy to take any questions.
Any questions for Dan? And you have no resolution?
No resolutions.
All right, my friend. Thank you. Report or attendance from Kyle, so we'll move on to Parks and Doug Frito. You there, Doug?
Yep. Hey, everybody. I don't really have anything to add to my report, but I do have a couple of resolutions there, so I'd be happy to take any questions on the report.
Anybody got any questions for Doug before we get into the resolutions? All right, Doug, let's go to the resolutions then, please.
Sure,
PL3.
Yep. Current PL3 for November is a resolution to grant a 1-year license agreement to Wasco Paddles. We have renewed this previously. They did only request a 1-year extension instead of a 3-year extension because they may be reorganizing.
Okay, you did say they're going through some organizational structure.
Yes.
A 1-year extension.
Move it.
I have a motion to pass PL3. Can I get a second? Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Thank you, Doug. PL4.
So PL4 is a resolution regarding seeker for the removal of a shelter at Emerson Park.
Move it.
I'll second.
I have a motion and second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. I'd like to entertain a motion to move PL3 from 1025 off the table.
I'll move it.
Second,
I'll second that.
second. Okay, apparently this has a little confusion, Doug, and we talked about it today. If you could elaborate on that a little bit, you said this basically was to close in the buildings out back to make them storage to hold the artifacts or the contents of the log cabin. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I realized the title after we discussed it kind of sounds like a replacement of the building, but the actual construction slated for it is to enclose two shelter type facilities on the south side of the museum in order to house that collection because of the condition of the log cabin itself. So it doesn't replace that building; it replaces the square footage. If that's a better description of the project, and the Friends of the Museum are exploring whether or not to take that building down or to rehab it into a shelter. So they have a more of a long-term 5-year plan for the eventual replacement of that building.
Okay, any questions for Doug on 1025 PL3?
The confusion was it a rebuilding it?
Right, yeah, and we talked today and we straightened that out. This is for the out back to hold some of the contents of the log cabin, and the Friends will decide what to do with the log cabin in the future. So to complete the motion to take it off the table, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Carried. Now entertain a motion to pass 3LP. Yeah. PL3.
Move that.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Okay. PL3 carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey Doug,
Yes.
if you could, is there any updates on the contract negotiations with merry-go-round playhouse?
Sure. The merry-go-round actually has their, they have a contract in hand, and there have been some conversation between both our legal counsel and their leadership. So negotiations are actively underway.
Do we have any outlook on when that may be completed?
Best case, on or before the full ledge meeting, worst case, the December meeting.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the updates.
Is the proposal for rent made by us?
Yes.
That's what's under negotiation or?
Yes, and the amount and also the mechanism for collecting. In other words, whether it's going to be outright rent or paying, a fee, if you will, for, tickets sold. Those things are all discussion.
Interesting. Okay, any more questions on that? All right, thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Tourism, Courtney.
Good evening. In my report, you'll see the first page is a executive look at some of the data that we use in our research platform called Zartico. So this just kind of gives you a big overall executive viewpoint of what we look at when we are kind of culling data each month. And we use this to guide our strategic decisions. In this specific report, which is from September, you'll notice that some of these things help us guide to see which target markets we can look at to attract for visitorship. Also, it tells us what areas are trending higher for us. For example, in this one, you notice it's food and beverage. So we use these things to make our marketing campaigns, which is how we came to create the successful Cayuga cuisine campaign. That's also something that we are going to work with the Cayuga County Chamber of Commerce on and start partnering to boost things like Restaurant Week. And it's also going to be the theme of our tree here at Ward O'Hara Festival of Trees. We also use this data to help us boost our shoulder season. So we've learned here that during the quiet of winter, people want to kind of rest and relax, enjoy nature. So we're working on some of our campaigns called Hibernation, really, and go beyond to really help people get outdoors, but also kind of reset and restore health and wellness. Also, I did pull a report just from September, just to look at some of our visitor journeys. I pulled one for Fairhaven Beach State Park to see where our visitors were traveling to. So after Fairhaven Beach State Park, visitors traveled down to Fillmore Glen. So those are the types of reports I can help, and I'm happy to meet with each of you and every legislator to show you exactly what points of attractions you have in your districts where our visitors are going. Another update, we have onboarded our new Director of Marketing and Group Sales, Hillary Finner. She comes to us from the Skaneateles Chamber of Commerce. She was the former executive director there. So she has a deep understanding of business development, marketing initiatives, big event attraction. She's already heavily focusing on group tours and meeting with a lot of our lodgings to start talking about how we bring more bus and group tours here. A lot of our partners have expressed that's what they're looking for. And then you all heard about our community days that we hosted. We just had one in October for our Cayuga Lake communities. So it was in Cayuga, Union Springs, and Aurora. And I have a report for each of you so that you can take a look at what we talk about at these events and how we use this data to inform how we promote these areas. So for instance, in this specific communities, we talked about what they want us to promote, what they don't want us to promote, and how we can better help them through our office. One of the things that everyone said is that the Cayuga Lake sunsets cannot be beat. So that was a big consensus that really the things that are important to them is the lake, the rural communities, and kind of that neighboring spirit. We had a great attendance, probably about 30 different residents, business owners, including the mayor of Aurora, Jim Orman, was there. So really, if you look at that, the three things that we're taking away is Aurora, Union Springs, and Cayuga care about the environmental care, the rural character, and the community connection.
Any points?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Was this the first one that you've?
So we have done previously, the office has done several of those. They try to do one quarterly. So for a year, the next one will start next fiscal year and will be in Auburn. I believe the last one before this one was held in Weedsford.
Any questions for? Right. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm not on the committee, but may I? I have just a question about your first point in your report. Okay. How long have you had access to that? Kind of, yeah, to Zartico, and what information has it brought in regarding where people are coming from? Are they coming from downstate, out of state?
Yeah, so
neighboring areas?
look at the core markets today. So it's telling you that our major origin markets are New York, which means New York City, Albany, Rochester. And then it looks at, so over the summer, we had a high visitation from Wilmington, North Carolina. And all of this is tracked through visitor spending, which is credit card usage, and also geolocation through cell phones. So it does tell us, I think we've had this software for maybe a year. It is up for renewal in February, but it took the place of some of the other research platforms that had been used, like STAR, because the cost was increasing. So this one gives us a look at where visitors are coming from, also local. So visitors are 50 miles and away. And it also looks at what different buckets they are spending money on, whether it's food and beverage, accommodations, outdoor recreation. We can even look at it by big events that are happening.
So you mentioned food and beverage.
Yes.
Is where we're seeing.
Yep, so the top one is accommodations and then food and beverage, but that will also change seasonally. So this is a September report, so that's really the end of our busy season. So I'm sure maybe, spring and summer might have a different look as winter and fall.
Thank you. It's
Yeah.
very illuminating.
Okay. Any more questions for Courtney? Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe that concludes the business of planning. I would entertain a motion to adjourn. And a second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you. So now we start whenever the vice president deems necessary.
Everybody is. Okay, I guess we can pretty much get into it if you want. Okay, I'd like to call the government ops meeting to order. The chair, Brian Muldrow, is ill tonight, so he's not able to come. I'm going to fill in as vice chair. Heidi Nightingale is present, Con Petcher's present, and Mark Strong. I'd get a motion to approve the September 9th minutes.
Move it, Mark.
Second, yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. There are three resolutions tonight. The first one is from the Board of Elections, but if Keith or whoever is, hello, Keith.
Yes. Hello.
If you want to, highlight anything in your report, before you get to the resolution, feel free.
Okay, no, I think that obviously the big thing we've done in November has been the general election, and we're still working on that. That's a time intensive, the most important thing we do, of course. So, and you'll have more of that in the report when we're all wrapped up with the election. It takes a while.
Does anyone have any questions for Keith? Go ahead, Mark.
Afternoon, Keith. Just a question, and I don't know if it's too early to ask this question, but on election night, I believe the polls closed at 9 o'clock.
Yes.
I want to say it was like 9:35, 9:40-ish, from local other news agencies and stuff like that. A lot of the counties throughout the state were already, 100% in, and I know when I left at 10:30, we still didn't have, I don't believe we had all our reporting done. One of the things that was mentioned was we were still waiting on early voting totals. And I don't know if that was miscommunicated or what. Can you?
It was miscommunicated, right? Correct. Miscommunicated. Yeah, and I mean, it's a good question, Mark. Thank you very, very much. The difficulty, and I'm surprised, I don't know who would have had 100% of their vote tallied by 9:30 or even 10. That would be, but I'll put out a thing on our roundtable to ask who that might be and how they do it. One of the challenges we face is this: the results that we tabulate are totally offline. They're in a room that has no internet access. And there's good reason for that. And so people cannot mess with the results of the election, either physically or electronically. So what happens is that every polling site, when they close, and there's a whole process that we have to go through to close an election, which is not that interesting, but if you guys ever want to see it, we can bring in a machine and show you what we do to close it, or you can come see us. But we go through the process of closing the polls. There is then a USB drive that has all of the votes from that particular polling site. That is physically picked up and driven to Auburn, where we upload the results. In a county like ours, obviously you cannot get from Sterling to Auburn in 15 minutes, nor can you get from Summerhill to Auburn in 15 minutes. So there's a physical delay based upon how long it takes to transport that information, which many counties don't have. So that's an issue. Anytime there's a delay, too, polls are never closed until everyone has voted. You may, and that's what, yeah, I guess that's accurate to say closing. If you're in line at 9 o'clock, you will be allowed to vote, even if it takes until 9:30 or 10 o'clock. This year it did not take that long, but some of the polling sites had people that didn't vote until after 9. And so we do not close the polls until they vote. So it's a fairly complicated process, but I think your point is good, and it's something that does concern us because we would like to provide results as soon as we can. It is never early voting. What happens with early voting is those results are collected and they're held by law until after 9 o'clock. So we have those results, and those are the first results that go up. So that they were posted both to our website and to the state by about 9:10. But there is always some delay, and there's always something that goes wrong. I'm telling you, in terms of how closing a poll. There's a process that you have to go through, and it's step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if step 3 is messed up for some reason, you have to wait until step 3 is taken care of. This is the way we ensure that our elections are free, open, honest, and that every vote is counted. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
It does, Keith. I appreciate the explanation. Thank you.
welcome.
Okay, you have the one resolution, Keith, Board of Election pay rates for election workers. In this
Yeah.
resolution, you're confirming the pay rates for 25 and it looks like 26 election cycles.
Yes,
Yeah, okay, the rate of 16 through $33 an hour based on the actual job.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I get a motion for GL1? Second, okay. I assume you do this every year?
Yeah, we're doing it a little differently this year in order to streamline the process for mostly for HR, but also for our internal processing for payroll. But yes,
And my only question is these rates are pretty comparable to what they've been, or there's?
yes. Yeah, there
Yep.
are no increases. We pay minimum wage at whenever possible. We pay poll managers a little more, and the upper end is like a highly skilled, and we almost never use that. But that's like for someone who's filling in for a deputy commissioner, which almost never happens, but on occasion.
Okay, we got a first and a second. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Sheila is here on somewhere.
No, she's not here.
Huh?
No, she's not here.
Are you president?
I can, yes,
Look like Sheila.
I can
Okay.
for the night.
Okay. This is the clerk of the legislator resolution, correct?
Yes, let me just look at.
What the big debate was, who owned it?
For the Auctions International,
Yes, GO2, authorizing the chair to renew
the contract.
with Auctions International for the year 2026. And I think the contract's attached. The information is attached. Okay, could I get a motion?
Move it, Mark.
Second?
Thank you.
Any questions for Amanda? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And just a reminder, the last meeting of the month for December will be December 11th
Okay,
for the legislature.
okay.
Does
Okay,
that include the 20th when we have to have the budget done by?
There might be another meeting if that's not done, but December 11th is right now in the calendar as the last one. And December 9th will be the public hearing on the budget.
Thank you.
and the budget must be passed by the 20th. Is that what you're referring to? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, the interim clerk, do you have anything to add to your? You have information on the operations? Is there any questions for her? Okay, hearing none. Thank you. Let's see, what else we have? Okay, we have the third resolution is resolution. 303. Authorizing the information officer to purchase computer hardware in the amount of what, 50,000?
Yes.
Something?
Yep.
And can I get a motion for that? Second?
Second, Mark.
And you're bringing this because you have the money in your budget, but it's a requirement because of the cost of the purchases?
It exceeds the spending policy, correct?
Okay,
Yes.
and these are hardware changes, obviously you need to make?
Yeah, these are hardware changes to keep up with our 5-year IT replacement cycle and to replace machines that are not compatible with Windows 11.
Okay. Do we have a motion and a second? We do?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Do you have anything you want to talk about on your report, Tom?
Just the only highlight really is to discuss the IT move to the data center Auburn Fire. We are looking to finally complete that project next week. And then we'll be able to start the actual migration of all of our servers over to Auburn Fire immediately after. So that will go pretty quick. Hoping to have that completed probably no later than mid.
So that's the data center, not to be confused with the 911.
That's correct.
And the data center's first.
Data centers first, and it takes a huge reliance off of anything going drastically wrong with our IT infrastructure. So it's a huge first step.
Okay, and you're still working on the 911 move?
Yes, we are.
Along with Denise?
Yes, collectively with the chair.
Okay, with Tom?
Yep.
And do you have a date? Sort of? No, there's still a lot of things to work out?
There's still a lot of things to work out. We are working with campus. We do have, some timelines established, but I'll let judicial and public safety comment on those. Once we have more firm dates, I think everything's still kind of in the works, but.
Right. Yeah, the tentative, looking down the road schedule, we're hoping for April to be moved in there. That's what we're looking at right now.
Okay.
We have a meeting every Friday morning where the key players, myself, the chair, Tom, 911, a couple others I probably failed to mention, but that are in there. We're keeping tabs of the progress right along and, checking off the boxes and
Great.
working along to the goal of getting the 911 backup 911 center in Auburn Fire and looking for April if it all comes together and falls in place.
Thank you. All right. Kevin Swab. Kevin's online.
I am here.
Hello.
All right, we had a busy week with Veterans Day. I attended the Auburn Veterans Day ceremony where we gave the Veteran Service Award to Steve Weldon. It was a great little ceremony. The city moved it indoors and it worked out pretty well. The Purple Heart resolution has been sent forward and we are now recognized as a Purple Heart County on the National Military Order of the Purple Heart website. So that is their recognition of that. And as I said before, we will be planning some activities here when the weather gets warmer. I just wanted to get that step in the process done, and then we'll keep moving on with that. I attended a hockey tournament with a few comments about veteran benefits. There was a Young Patriots performance at Willard Chapel on the 8th. Great thing. A lot of Vietnam veterans came to that. Went to the USO show. I know Legislator Winslow was up there for that. Always a good event. If you've never been there, I recommend you do it once in your life at least. It'll warm your heart, especially if you stay for the afternoon show when the elementary kids come out. It's a great thing. Tomorrow morning, I'll be waking up early and going to talk to veterans at Nucor Steel in the morning. And then in the evening, there's a dinner at the Elks Club, and they're offering a free dinner for veterans. So we're going to sit up there and talk to veterans as well. Other than that, we're continuing our normal operations. One thing to add actually is I was able to hire a VSO on New York, the Dwyer program funds, and I'm having him go through some training for peer mentorship focused on substance use issues. And he's actually, I think he's completing recovery. And as I've talked to some veterans in the area, they have expressed an interest in having a veteran support group. And so I found someone who I think will do well in that. I'm getting him some training before we start moving forward with that as well. So pending your question, that's all I have.
Oh, I just wonder what the DSO is. What's the acronym?
VS.
Yes, VSO.
DSO? Okay, because I was like, what's a DSO? All right, thank you.
Veteran Support
Okay.
Officer is
Yes,
the
okay.
title.
Yep. Okay. All right, thank you, Kevin.
Good night.
All right, if I haven't missed anyone, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, all in favor?
I agree.
We can get ready in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna use the ladies' room. We're gonna have a special Ways and Means meeting. Lynn's here to talk about, some high committee departments. I guess, we can go over, that once we call the meeting to order. How about 5 minutes?
Okay.
Special Ways and Means Committee, meeting to order. Myself, Legislator Nightingale, Bob Shea, Ben Vitale, and Tom Winslow. The purpose of this meeting obviously is, I was just clarifying, there's one of potentially three meetings if we need all three. This meeting tonight on the 13th is an opportunity to have the budget director go over the departments that report to Health and Human Services, Planning, Government Operations, just to get some additional information about what the tentative budget actually contains. She'll do the same on the 18th for the other committees. It would be, the purpose of these meetings is for the Ways and Means Committee to make recommendations, if any, about changes to this tentative budget. We would vote on them as a committee. Anything that gets the majority vote will go on to would constitute the change, and then everything as a recommendation would go on to the full legislature. So I don't know if anyone is prepared tonight to make any changes or recommend anything, or this would be an opportunity on the 13th and the 18th to listen to the various impacts on the various departments and potentially have a discussion there. I think either way, this is going to be a difficult process because there's an opportunity, I believe, to put things back into the tentative budget, but that would take increasing the tax levy, or it would take increasing the fund balance draw. Both would be a difficult task to do. Or there could be opportunities to make further cuts to this budget and then somehow reduce the tax levy or reduce the fund balance draw, which is already, I think, at 620,000. But these meetings are to give additional information, see if there's any recommendations this committee wants to make to the full ledge, and then go from there. So if you're ready, Lynn, and you have some information prepared,
Yeah, for it. Yeah, I just made, an outline to kind of help us walk us through each committee. A little bit of structures. To it. We're gonna start with the Health and Human Services first. The Public Health Department, they had some increases in state aid. This is due to some open-ended funding, 36%, and they also have a base grant of 750,000. We increased the aid to kind of offset that there were 4 additional 100% reimbursed positions that were recently included that we passed that had to do with the lead grant. So we kind of offset that revenue so that there's a share of those new positions. So you'll see that revenue is up. We've also eliminated the funding for 1 full-time director of health education and 1 part-time early intervention services coordinator positions. Not a lot of other changes in their expenditures, and we can, if you want to look at the budget books. That's where it started at. 159. Start. It did have an increase in the local share for the preschool special education program. That is for the 5-year-olds. And we had to provide transportation, the tuition education was on page 167, and that did have an increase. We're estimating about $186,000 in local share for that program. I don't want to see any questions on it, department, or we'll move on.
the other high-risk areas, the 3-5 program, that seems.
That was what I was just saying.
Oh,
Yeah, the preschool education program.
oh, okay.
Has increased, the net increased to 106.
That total includes transportation and all of the general costs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Besides that, no significant changes. Except for the positions that is going to be eliminated.
And that is under education and physically.
The full-time position is not, that's in the public health.
Okay,
And then the part-time position is in intervention. That position had been actually added a couple years ago. It was added in. So we're taking that one back.
Is there, where do you see that? Where can we look at that?
Let's see. On page 166. The bottom of page 166, is
Gotcha.
the salary part-time.
Okay.
That's taken out. So we go 12,000.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. The next department after that would be,
Mental health.
health department. It starts over on page 174. There was some increase in their mental health fees, again, to kind of offset some funded position, kind of similar to the health department, just so we don't put all the share at those grant positions. This is a pretty steady budget for the mental health department, no significant changes at all. We did, once again, we budgeted $100,000 for the psychiatric costs for individuals charged with criminal charges. As you know, that's not really hard to predict, but we left the budget the same, we just left it $100,000. Anything else was significantly changed for their department, no staffing changes recommended.
But is there a vacancy that won't be?
Manager. Then on the, you budgeted 100,000, do you know what the total was for the so far? Just out of curiosity.
You know, I can look it up.
About 156,000 so far.
156,000.
Don't you put 100 in last year and they moved 56,000 from their own budget to cover the 730 costs so far? Is that what you ended up doing?
Yeah.
Yes, that from your vacant salaries. And to right now, you might get to the end of the year without additional costs. Okay, that's where we had the 1.2 million at one point. Far different this year. Or, make it worse. Okay.
We've had some great additions with the court navigator that works directly with social services to actually help be there, educate judges.
If I recall, there was some additional revenue that they looked at being into the budget to further decrease their local share. Is that, you did as requested.
Yep, we are gonna get some additional state next year for our coordinator position, so we increased the budget, the revenue line by like 30,000 for that. And then, we also took this out of our line that decreased that about $46,000 to decrease the but a little bit over.
That's for the total operation.
Yeah, and that doesn't include the stipends that we pay the nurse practitioners for the jail. We can't use opioid settlement funds to offset that, so that is still about $50,000 right in our budget that's not offset by any revenue. So it's about equal.
So.
Yep.
So Lynn, I mean, are we doing ourselves justice with just 100,000 or do we need to increase that or
I
not?
think it's reasonable. I mean, it's a total estimate for a budget. No, we can't over.
No, can't over budget. I understand.
Right.
It's a risky area though.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. We have legislators strong. We have tried to remediate that through the use of grants that got us the court navigator. And it's going to help educate judges around what competency is, what it looks like when, it really may be suitable or not. So, and actually help clients who are in court.
Oh, I have no
understand.
questions
So
with the,
I think that's going to be helpful too. We didn't have that in here.
I have no question with the program. Just want to make sure we're.
I just wanted to say that that's going to help remediate. I think it'll help us keep these numbers as close as than we had.
Can I say one more thing on that?
Thank you.
The only expenses that we have this year is not because somebody was incompetent, it's because there also is the 508s for people that are mentally ill in the jail that they can't plan for. That's actually where the expenses came this year. They were coming right from the jail to go to the hospital, just so everybody know that.
Well, I think we've done a lot of work on the competency end.
Lauren, or anything else you want to add, Lynn?
The next department, starts on page 193, that's the office for the agent. And in that budget, we have post eliminating one full-time aging service specialist and adding one part-time aging services specialist. There has been also some increased state aid in this department, for some program costs.
To discuss that full-time to part-time, aging services specialist. Because I understand that there is Connects New York money that can be with no county match, that in the range of $40,000 or so that can be brought in. And there's also pretty large fund for also Office of the Aging, that's the unmet needs fund, that actually could bring this back to a full-time position with no budget implications, not change the budget down at the bottom.
I think those revenues are already included in the budget.
It's the issue.
So where did that 40,000 New York's Connect go in the budget?
You have to, Brenda would account that it's reported in the budget.
That $40,000 we have in New York Connects would cover the
Part-time staff that's added back in.
Otherwise, we'd have to cut services that were paid for with all the meetings.
Thank you.
full disclosure, there were other cuts made in the budget in terms of the meals and some of the other areas.
And that couple below the current budget, which go back to the current budget. Page 197, the meals is up to 520,000 in the budget this year, and the locals in for next year, same amount.
And same as last year, you mean? Yes.
Did you say they were cut?
They were left at the same amount as the budget this year, 520,000. The request was higher. But the spending for this year is looking at about 490,000 on page 197. But let's just put that to the 25 budget level.
Not on this committee, but can I ask a question?
Sure.
Certainly, this is probably best for Brenda. Isn't the need increasing for meals? I mean, that's, I think I heard you say that last night.
Yeah, meals is, we have as many or more people on meals than we've ever had. Some of them are staying on shorter times, so that is impacting our numbers a little bit. We were given 245,000 additional funds from New York State for 2026. That money was meant to increase our services for older adults, be able to serve more people, be able to offer more and expanded types of services. That money was completely wiped out and cut from the county. So at this point, our funding level from the county is exactly what it was in 2020. Despite a 43% increase in our food costs, despite a 35% increase in our aid costs, we're just going backwards, even though we're in a funding like community where the number of elderly and the needs are higher than they've ever been. It is disappointing to have the state, give us all that extra money and it's invisible. It will have absolutely no impact, no positive impact on Cayuga County seniors at all with this budget.
I mean, the projected spending in this line is 496,000. The projected spending in this line is $496,000 for 2025.
What line?
The meals.
Nutrition, the meals.
And I'm not referring just to meals, so the money we got was for meals and for other services, so it affects both.
So the money, the additional money that you got has been embedded into the OFA budget, but basically instead of enhancing services, it's reducing your local share. Is that what is happening?
100%. Yeah.
Right.
The next department would be the social services department. That starts on page 199 and goes for several pages. Some of the revenues have increased a little bit, some increase in spending that we've had, so since we had the rent, cleaning, some security costs, in the building. We have a very large increase in foster care costs. The local share cost has increased $1.7 million for foster care. A lot of that is driven by the daily rates that we have to pay when children are put into a place in an institution, that we don't have control over those rates. The safety net spending has increased a little bit, it was mentioned in the past for the homeless population, and I also included what we call emergency assistance to adults. It's EAA, it's very similar to still housing for adults. The local share for both of those programs together is like $85,000. They have quite a few positions that we have unfunded in the budget that were recommended by our department, except for one of them that we did in addition to it. I'm gonna read them off. There are 2 full-time human services examiners, 1 full-time senior typist. There were 2 full-time clerks the department recommended, and then an additional clerk was also unfunded by the chair. There's 1 full-time caseworker, 1 senior social services investigator. A few other positions were added in as kind of like a reorganizing that the department had recommended. 1 full-time principal account clerk and 1 social services investigator. They also eliminated some funding for 5 part-time positions.
Okay. And you said all but the was the organization done by the department itself.
Yeah, when they presented their budget.
I have a question on page 201 under DSS administration, number 54059. It's professional services. And you look at this year's tentative budget versus last year's budget and the request, $67,000 difference. So with some investigation, I found out that $67,000 is a security guard at C Street.
I don't think that's all security guard. I don't think we pay a security guard $67,000. One person is not paid that much money, is it?
Well, the contract we have right now for the 3 security guards and the administrative component is $222,646. That's for 3 security and the admin component.
So is it 67? Is just one of them?
It's 67,000, but probably for one of them with the admin.
So, I mean, yeah, the chairman has eliminated having 2 security guards and building not 3.
So that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring up some concerns, some highlights for all of us to think about with that change. Currently, there are 3 security guards staggered on, starting at 7:30 in the morning, 1's 7:30 to 4, 1's 8 to 4:30, 1's 8:30 to 5. So there, and then they have staggered lunch breaks where there are already just 2 people there. And if you're not familiar with what they do, first of all, we've lost the armed guards because of the location. So the 130 some employees at 63 Gen no longer have that kind of safety. And they also don't have proximal safety. The workers are, within, there's feet of work, of space between where public is coming in and where their work is beginning. So there are times already when there are only 2 guards. And while on any typical visit, you might see them texting or waiting, because that's what law enforcement is for, to be ready and at the ready when things occur. They're not just hanging out, being paid for nothing. They also are very busy. They run everything through that magnometer station that we have. They also now, because of an indictment that occurred within the last month or so, after a very severe incident involving employees being threatened, they now have a security guard when there is curious behavior or concerning behavior. One of those security guards accompanies that person of the public to their examiner or their case manager and stays outside and waits, and then accompanies them back. They also need to accompany them to the bathroom, but there's no separate public bathroom. They're sharing, they have to go into the employees area to use the bathroom. So you already have that going on. If you take one away, then you'll have many periods of time where you have just one person at the front. I just want you all to consider that. We know the kinds of concerns that happen, the emotional status of individuals when they're under pressure and seeking and needing those kinds of services, and how easily escalated those emotions get. That's why we have always had security guards for this particular department of employees. So, you know, I just would like you to remember that we've already had a significant incident that led to an indictment and, you know, really traumatizing incident in the workplace for these individuals. And I want us to be thoughtful. I don't know when we're ready to make recommendations, but if we are, if this committee is ready for voting on a recommendation, I'd like to recommend, Madam Chair, that money for whatever amount it is that the chair took out be replaced.
And
I don't know.
the money.
I don't know how.
You have to know where the money
find,
comes from.
You know,
You have,
so I can't make the amendment without knowing.
Unless you
I'll
know.
work with the budget director.
Yes, yes, yep. I mean, no, I'm not being, I'm not being.
Well, I guess what she's saying is you could say another savings or the fund
Right.
balance or the tax.
Yeah, you have to say, I mean, you have to figure out if you're putting $67,000, is that your recommendation, putting it back? You have to identify where it's coming from. That's all I'm saying.
I have to. I will work with the budget director to do that.
Yes, and then you bring the whole proposal back here and then we would vote on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I just have I have an observation. I'm not on Ways and Means, so maybe I'm not privy to this information, but like you just gave me like a critical consequence to this budget that I can't see anywhere. It's so do you have more information than I do, like about what's missing? Do you know what I mean? That's a critical consequence to like our operations, but I don't see that here right now unless I missed something.
Right, you didn't miss anything. We all would have missed it unless I saw that line so reduced and wondered what part of professional services are we not going to
I'm assuming the department bring it forward as a concern. I mean, in fairness.
Yeah, I talked with the department,
Yes.
absolutely.
But to your point, you can't look at this line and say, oh, they got rid of us.
They have it highlighted.
Yeah.
Studying last night, I have lots of other, you know, in other departments, questions about what is this money that's gone? Because we can't tell.
Right. This is my 10th budget. I'm not oversight chair, so I haven't had intimate conversations with anyone, but we're not given the information. And if it's missed by a department, then how will we know? That's my concern right now as to what, because that's critical to me in knowing DSS and security.
I mean, I will say that the departments were all shared this budget and they were all asked, please review their budgets. And if they had any questions, so please bring them forward if they weren't aware of something that had been cut. Some that was discussed with the department during their budget. That was not unknown to them that could happen. And they asked me and that's what had been cut.
But you know that, and maybe Heidi knows that, but I don't think any of us knew that. I guess that's my.
I agree with you, and I don't think we ever give a list of every single thing in here. I took $2,000 out of this account, or I took $3,000 out of that account, or Jonathan and I decided to do whatever it was. I mean, I think the departments proposed their budget. There's no detail in their proposals either. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have, line lists of every professional services account of what's in it. I mean, that's not how our budget's ever been presented, so. Usually this is a give and take where the departments will talk to their legislator who's on their committee. If they have a concern, try and, have a conversation and try and bring it forward and then we'll talk about it. Now, I mean, so I'm kind of going with department by department, that if anybody has any questions, they want to say, what's in this line? We can discuss it. The departments are here, I'm here, I would have some more information. They have lots more information for sure. Some of these departments, some of these lines are much more described by what's in there, others are not, it's much more difficult, they're unique to their departments sometimes. I have to ask the same questions at budget meetings, I can't remember every single thing they put in them, but.
We did talk when this whole thing came up, because I remember it was debate about, do we need 3 security or do we need 2? And I think, Ben, it was you who said, certainly maybe it makes more sense to start with 3 than to start with 2 and see how it goes. So I guess is there an evaluation that 2 is sufficient because you can call 911? I mean,
I think it would be prudent for us to actually see the job, well, or not qualifications, but the job duties that what they're entailed, what they are or are not allowed to do. And as far as I know, I mean, obviously they do the magnetometer thing. They open and close the door electronically. If they're, following somebody to an office or whatever, that's fine. But in all actuality, the only thing they're allowed to do is observe whatever happens to be going on and dial 911. They're not armed, as Chairman.
it's an emergency 911.
Yeah, that's the only thing that they're allowed to do. They're not allowed to put hands on anybody. And I mean, so whatever, but obviously, an actual detailed look at what they're allowed to do and capabilities should probably be reviewed before, any decisions are made.
So I guess my point was, unless Heidi brought that up right now, I wouldn't even know that we were doing any thorough review of that. I think that's where I'm coming from.
The next budget on here is for the youth bureau.
What?
It starts on page 211 and proposal there was to reduce the director from a full-time position to a.
Time to 0.8, is that what you said?
0.8.
0.8.
I ask a silly question. Does that translate into hours? I mean.
It's like working 80%, whatever.
4 days a week instead of 5.
Okay, but I guess that's fine. Thank you.
Without benefits.
But we also know that this position covers currently the duties of
I know what you mean.
DWI. And that's a $10,000 stipend program, right?
What is it?
There's no stipend for it, just the duties were added into the job of the original salary.
10,000, you're thinking 10,000 of her salary is offset by DWI money.
Right.
I think
Right.
it's 20.
Is
Is it 20 that we plus?
20,
It's 20.
previously the part-time person was paid.
Right, but that's not how we're doing it right now. It's
Oh, see,
$20,000 to stop DWI funds offset its salary.
the local sheriff.
That's how it is in the 2025 budget.
So question, does this mean they're taking for full-time, part-time, so they're losing benefits? Or,
The person is not.
okay, there's no benefits at all.
Well, then you wouldn't lose them at 0.8 anyway, right?
But that's my question.
And the next committee is planning and economic development. That starts at page 31. First department is employment and training. There was no significant changes here. And that budget is reimbursed at 100%. By federal funds and some other funds they receive. But no significant changes there. Next is the planning department, that starts on page 35. That was proposed to eliminate funding for 2 full-time planner positions in that budget. Including on the sheet here, I have also the 2 county soil and water conservation district. The funding was reduced from $730,000, which is the 2025 budget, to $700,000. It's gonna be good. It's on
Page 217, soil and water.
What is it, Mark? What was that?
217, soil and water.
You mean,
It's on page 10.
Now, why did I look at it today?
And some of the other versions, when they print just in number order, it would be in the back. And it's on page 10. It's. 87.
700,000. Change. My mistake.
After that, the next committee would be the Government Operations Committee. That's on page 43. County manager budget. We've eliminated 1 full-time secretary to the third person, that is, we're going to be having budgeting that position historically, it's not been in the legislative budget, it's been this budget. So it's down to full-time position.
Yep, sure. So for that line, the full-time salary line, what employees does that include? Does it include being a manager funded in the budget? 297 employees. Is that our operations manager and
Budgeted here. This budget includes the operations officer. It includes $100,000 budgeted for a county manager. And it includes 60% of my salary. The other part of my salary, some is in the health department and some is in social services.
Can I ask a question? What's the 100,000 for the county managers? What does that do? I mean, what
What are we doing?
It's to hire a county manager in 2026, is what it's budgeted for. That's what gets proposed in the budget.
But 60,000 is from DSS?
60% of my salary is budgeted, 74,000. The operations manager is also, so there's $100,000 per county administrator. They would not
60%.
start on January 1st, you know, it's unknown when.
Just under the percent, that's
Yes,
good.
it was percent.
Yep.
There's basically like 2.6 people budgeted in there, is what that is. The next, the county attorney's department. We eliminated funding for one full-time assistant county attorney that hasn't been filled for quite so we unfunded that. There were also, the funding was eliminated for one full-time executive assistant to the county attorney. And we added funding for one full-time paralegal specialist. So that's offsetting.
So that would leave the county attorney's office with 2 attorneys and a paralegal specialist?
There was also a reduction in the professional services line. But quite a bit, that's on page 47. Some additional funds have been put in there, when we were having trouble, couldn't hire a county attorney. We thought we would have to contract things out. The social services was able to hire an additional attorney. And spending has just not been there. So there is still some funds in there to pay for some current contracts, but extra. Still have to keep contracting her a little bit, reduce that quick.
Do have some arrangement with an attorney to help out with contracts and some other things, Fred?
Yes.
No, and that this budget would allow that to continue?
Correct. Then we'll probably need more assistance as well.
We also have the JDs.
Yes.
That's in there. And
Okay.
also, you know, for the cash foreclosures.
Yeah.
So those are probably gonna be consistently in there.
Yes.
Yeah. That's, those are. Next part will be the county clerk's department. And then I have a kind of group. The eliminated funding for one full-time deputy county clerk position. And we eliminated the funding for one full-time senior motor vehicle cashier position.
Can I ask, the elimination of one full-time deputy county clerk is the arrangement that was made when we have a county clerk and people were promoted, or no?
We're just eliminating one. Reducing the size that they have. It would not, has nothing to do with the people who moved around and stuff. It would just be eliminating one of the deputies. So they would have.
Because they had 3 or 4? I'm just curious.
3.
They had 3,
2 usually, so this would be going back to.
2 deputies.
And 1 deputy, instead of a clerk and 2 deputies.
Okay. And deputy 1, deputy 2, all of
I
that.
think that matters.
Okay, at this point,
We're eliminating
okay.
the position.
Going back to 2 deputy clerks or 1. I'm all goofed up.
It would be a county clerk. And 1 deputy county clerk.
But no one would be losing their job. Okay, it's just a reclassification of the different jobs. No one's
We're reducing the department though by an additional person. They have 2 vacancies right now.
okay.
And then the DMV is to go down one senior motor vehicle cashier. It will be.
The title of Christine Lytle, right? The whoever's coming in to be the clerk. Yep.
Lynn, how many folks are on payroll for DMV? Budget issue as it is.
There will be 6. We're proposing 6 employees.
And how many is there currently? And that's if Christine, with her moving to.
Well, there's one vacancy, but.
Right, but it's budgeted at 7.
Right.
The budget is 7 right now. You can't count that. It was filled until 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
I mean, so they have 7 people. We're budgeting to go to 6, going down by 1.
I guess, obviously, we have some motor vehicle folks here. Have you folks gave any thought to going to, appointments like that was done, during the COVID issue or, when we had the COVID era there? Have you folks given any consideration of that?
When we went to appointments during COVID is when we lost the majority of our revenue investments. Right now, we're getting a larger portion of Onondaga County residents coming to us because we do not have appointments, where both Syracuse offices are by appointments only.
I'd like to speak on that. Right now, our number is 50,000 transactions for the year. That's one transaction every 2 minutes. We can't possibly put it on the system to schedule an appointment every 2 minutes. It's not idealistic for people to walk in there very timely every 2 minutes. It's not realistic. We have 6 people right now because we are in a hiring freeze. So we're at 6 and we're struggling. We've already put in 331 hours in comp time. And that's just since the end of the year. We can't keep our staff going the way it is. You're taking me out who has a lot of experience. You're putting people in there with no experience. This office is struggling. We're making a revenue. They also have us increasing our revenue to 630 from 600,000, reducing our staff by 33%. We were at 9 in January. I don't know how you want us to make up another 30,000, but reducing our staff to 33% without DMV raising their fees. And that's come right to state. It's not fiscally responsible. It's not. You're asking us to raise to $630,000. With 33% less staff, we're already pushing out one transaction every 2 minutes. 50,000 transactions. That doesn't include the transactions that are made on the telephone for people that are getting assistance that don't go through a computer. You're limiting me to 1 deputy when Sue Dwyer had 3 deputies. I can't even with 1 deputy cross-train one to have them go over and help you fill in at DMV when you're calling me to 1 deputy. I'm a new clerk coming in. I have to be going over to get my own training. You're putting me with 1 deputy, so I'm not even gonna have a person in charge to be able to do that. We have audits that need to be completed, daily reconciliation of those 50,000 transactions. You're tying our hands. That's all I got to say.
I do have a question. The DMV revenue, you did not recommend, we just put it in?
I increased it based on what they look like they're gonna get in this year.
What do they look like they're gonna get in this year?
I put in there, 630.
So the revenue projection was based on what's going to be accomplished this year.
But you also have to remember the real ID push that the deadline was made. That brought a lot of revenue in with people, again, not wanting to go to offices that are appointment only. We saw people coming up from New York City to get their real IDs.
So your point is you're not potentially going to have that book of business like this.
Correct. And DMV business is cyclical, right? So your license doesn't expire every 8 years. Your registration doesn't expire every year, it's every 2 years. So the it ebbs and flows for what the revenue is gonna be depending upon what the cycle is, where we're at right now. And right now, we're in a high cycle of licenses expiring. So once this year is over, we're not gonna see people for another 8 years for their license unless there's a problem where they need to do something else. So it's what we've earned this year with the revenue is not going to be seen again next year. We're not going to have as high of, I mean, when in April and early May, we had, you know, you came down to the sheriff's office, we had people out the door, down the ramp and waiting in the parking lot to come in.
Mhm.
That's not gonna keep going. The deadline was happening. People are still coming in to get real IDs because they wanted to wait until they would up for renewal, which is this year, 2025, was a huge increase for renewals for licenses.
But your concern is if you go by appointment only, you'll lose even potentially more value.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've got people coming in from all over the surrounding counties because they either have a huge wait time at their offices in their county or they're by appointment only. And appointment only just, it doesn't work. I mean, for an example, if you just bought a car from your neighbor, right? And you live in the city of Auburn or another municipality that does not allow you to have a vehicle unregistered on your property. You can't wait for an appointment to come and register and sit and worry that you're gonna get fined or dinged by your municipality because you have an unregistered vehicle on your property. You need to get down to the DMV and get your plates on that vehicle and get it registered so that you can have it on your property and you're not gonna get in trouble.
And I know, Mark, you had talked a little bit about a kiosk and the possibility of something like that.
I have, I mean, and I'm not trying to, you know, disparage anybody that works in the DMV or anything like that. But, I mean, I feel that we need to bring our DMV as long as other, you know, things in the offices in the county up to, I'll use the term modern times. I mean, look at the clerk's office. We went and did we took all the paper records and transferred them to, you know.
Digital.
We digitized them. So, I mean, there's a step towards modernization. I feel that we should be looking with the DMV at modernization. I'm told that there are kiosk stations available. If we could get them, I feel like people, the younger generation, because they are computer, you know, literate, I hate to use that word, but they're more computer literate than the folks that are my age or older. And I prefer to come in and do face-to-face work. But, you know, there are people that would come in and use the kiosk, I feel. And you can do, as far as I know, you can do most, not all, but DMV stuff online. And a lot of people, instead of driving in from the south and the north, they can do it. They could do it online, or they can currently. So I think, you know, a look at the office overall, and bringing it up to modern standards or looking to the future. I think we would be, you know, neglect if we didn't do that.
So we did look into the kiosk. So just so that everybody knows, if we need something, if we need equipment, if we need, you know, things added in, it's not just a phone call to the state and say, hey, send us a kiosk. There's a cost to it, right?
Sure.
So that mobile unit that the sheriff purchased for us for out at the jail to do IDs was $24,000. So I asked about the kiosk. The kiosk program has ended. The contract with the vendor ended and the state did not put it out for bid. So the kiosks are not available to anyone. And when they were available, the state only allowed kiosks in state offices. They were not allowing counties to have kiosks in their offices.
But you still can do stuff via computer, correct? I mean,
yeah,
basic.
the basic stuff.
I mean, obviously, if there's a photograph, like the new license, and they changed over to the new license, you have to have done that.
Right, and with those
passports, I assume.
We don't do passports. That's clerk's office. But with those upgraded licenses right now, most people have a real ID compliant driver's license with that, you are now required every other renewal, you have to go into an office and have a picture taken.
I understand there's still, there's still a need for people to come in. I understand that. I mean, I think that, where I would like to see all of the county offices take a step toward, modernization. I mean, we are probably doing it slowly but surely. I know our IT folks are very, very busy with, upgrading stuff. My hope is to upgrade stuff. I didn't know the kiosks weren't available anymore, but I looked at it like if you could put a, I mean, obviously you have to upgrade the software, but you don't have to pay them retirement. You don't have to pay them sick call or, sick time or any of that stuff. Obviously, there's got to be a savings down the road. So
Probably eventually, but, and to that point too, is, you want to reduce the staff and keep it at 6 where we are now. I've already lost a cashier who went to the Henrietta office because it's just too much she couldn't continue doing it. So she left. And that's the fear for all of my cashiers and all of my staff. We did it, we've made it work. You see it with the numbers, and it's come with a lot of stress, a lot of friction between staff members. And it's, if having the sheriff pay $24,000 for that mobile unit for us to go out there and do IDs, once we're out of that location, if I have 6 people, the state tells me if I go over there to do IDs, 2 people have to go for auto checks. That would leave my office with 4 people running, and it just wouldn't work. It couldn't. We have to have the staff there, otherwise that mobile unit the sheriff bought is now gonna sit in the closet, because I wouldn't be able to have the time to go over there with somebody to go and do IDs, and that can take half a day. Sometimes it's taken 3/4 of a day, because they have to go into each pod, get out the people that are in there, bring them down to us, do the photos, bring them back, get the next group, bring them down. So that's a long day of waiting and processing, and then coming back to the office and trying to catch up on everything else that needed to be done for the day.
Right now, you have one cashier that's vacant that you're hoping to get permission to fill.
Correct.
So you only have 3 cashiers at this point in time.
Correct.
And one's budgeted, and that cashier is budgeted in 26 as well.
Presumably.
Yes, it is. Okay.
I will say that our supervisory staff, me and Sharon and Peter are all acting as cashiers right now. We're all running some of that. We're not just being our support. We can't. We're running as cashiers.
Okay, the next department, this is still under the clerk, is the records department. And that has eliminated the funding for 1 full-time record retention specialist. That was actually brought forward by the department. That is part of a plan as far as the digitization project, that position would only be temporary.
Dreams project, you
Yes.
mean? Yep.
Yeah, so that was kind of planned for that to happen. The rest of the budget is pretty much the same, and the same for the county historian. There were no other changes made there. The next department would be information technology. We have decreased the equipment requests by $125,000 between 25 and 26. We're budgeting in total $227,000 for equipment now. As we all know, IT software and systems are a big investment in the county. We're kind of continuing in that, and the way it's still budgeting software spending is $1.7 million. It has gone up a little bit, but one of the main things in there is the and one, I believe, had an expenditure that was unplanned in 25, so we had a good resolution that is included in there. And we have included a little bit of funding for payroll software to try and hopefully keep moving that project forward in 2026.
I missed what you said about the MOM or whatever. For the payroll software, what did you?
911, that they were missing, there was that one resolution that was not budgeted for that. It is now in 26 budget, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
So that's in there now. The other two departments that are left under government ops, veterans and board of elections, there is no significant changes in those budgets from 2025.
Yeah, I have a couple of general questions.
Yeah.
We have an estimate of what our unemployment costs are gonna be in with this move?
No, but we can use that.
So we don't have that budgeted anywhere then?
No.
That's significant. Huge.
That be in its own line then?
There's 9 positions that are.
I don't know if we have,
There is some employment in a couple of the departments that I normally put in, but there was not additional put in.
I don't know if we have an employment reserve. I don't think we do. Right. We're gonna continue to lay people off. We might want to think about that, but my other question is I would love to know if there's any legislator here that knows what the effective tax rate is.
Could you repeat that? Or what?
The effective tax rate. In our message here, it says the effective tax rate increase is 1.96%. I think that's very, very misleading. People think that we're really not doing that much. It's really not 12.5. It's only 1.96. What's the effective tax rate? What's the definition of one?
I mean, this is the factual information in the front page, the next page of the budget book.
I understand that,
We've
but
presented this every year for 20 years.
but what is it?
It's 1.96, it's 6.8.
No, no.
6.808 per thousand.
Instead of 5 something that was before
Yeah, I
5.
mean, this really is not my expertise area. If you have, tax rate questions, it's really more for Jenny, but this is factual because the assessments have gone up significantly like they have for the last 3 or 4 years. The property values in the county have gone up. That's also on the sheet in the front that you can see that. I mean, I think we gave both factual information. Yes, it is 12.5% tax increase. We didn't say that. It's not.
No, at some point, I'll be asking Jenny to explain it to this legislature because I don't think anybody here understands it. Thank you.
Because again, maybe that would be good to have Jenny explain it, because last year when we did a 4.2% tax increase, tax rate percent of change was minus 7.67.
Right, because the countywide full valuation number, the column over to the left more, goes up significantly. Sorry. That's the full assessment value of the properties in the county. Doesn't just stay the same. Other years it does stay the same. If you kind of look up, a lot of years it stayed very flat. Probably wasn't inflation. There wasn't the pressures in the market that everybody's prices of their houses were going up, right? I mean, she'll say it's determined by new builds. If everybody, we had 50 more houses, that's great build in Cayuga County because then it spreads it against more taxpayers, but it also could just be the value of the houses already here. Someone's house goes from 200,000 to 400,000. It's the same house, but that's why that goes up. That full assessment amount. So, I mean, it just becomes math, kind of. I mean, no one's trying to be tricky. Both factual columns are in there. We're not presenting one over the other. They're both information. And it's, no one's trying to hide that the tax levy is not going up. I don't think that was implied at all by the chairman when he presented the budget.
So we didn't really need to vote on raising the tax cap. In the end, we did raise the tax cap.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We raised the tax cap so that the tax is levied above 2.9%. That's pretty much what the tax cap.
But we didn't put that in place because it's 1.96.
No.
Oh, no.
So I'm saying it's very deceiving. And don't let it deceive you.
I don't think it is deceiving. I mean, clearly it says it's going up 12.5%. So I mean, like I just said, I don't think he's trying to hide this to anybody. This was an extremely difficult budget year. We have health insurance going up 14%. We have retirement contributions going up, foster care going up $1.7 million. 2 years in a row, foster care has gone through the roof. We're going to be over budget on foster care in 2025. We have to build our fund balance, has to absorb those types of things.
But he didn't exceed the tax cap. That number, instead of being 12.5, would have been 2.8.
Or 2.9, yes.
Right.
I mean, it is reflecting a significant amount above the tax cap.
Yes, and I think he explained all of that. I don't think this is trying to be tricky at all. I guess if, I do want to just reiterate kind of what, Elaine was mentioning earlier, any proposals you do have to say where you want it to come from, whether another cost savings, increasing other revenue. I mean, there are revenue opportunities maybe that you could discuss amongst yourselves that you could put into the budget besides property tax, the only option for the county. Or you can have fund balance, or you can increase the property tax too. But it really has to be a motion in that way that, the other legislators can
Identify the line, say the change you want and where the change is offset.
Yes, and I will help anybody do that, but it really is your decision, what you're recommending. It's not really mine, to say that. I just kind of said what the options are, and it's kind of like what you feel would be supported maybe by your other legislators, or what you feel is the right thing to do for the community should be kind of what you're proposing, I guess.
And each change would have to be voted on individually, correct?
Yes, I mean, yeah, you'll vote on them here first, so if we, we'll do the same thing next week. At the next meeting, we have the other departments to kind of talk about some of the changes. And then you can, decide if you want to make any motion there for ways and means to bring forward as proposals to the full legislature. That's what you're kind of voting on right now, to see what, as that committee, what kind of recommendations do you have?
And if next week, there are changes made that the majority of the Ways and Means Committee approves, that becomes.
The legislature will still need to vote on it at the full legislative meeting.
Okay.
Actually amend the tentative budget.
Okay.
Ways and Means is just making recommendations.
Income was taxed at a lower rate.
To the legislature.
Okay. So any changes we make would go and be presented and then voted on by the full body.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't make final changes. We just
recommendations.
We recommend them.
And then when the ledge meets, legislators not on Ways and Means and bring their own motions forward and then have them voted on.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, it's good to have, it's required under New York state law. You have to have what you're changing and then what is being reduced to compensate, if you will, for that increase or decrease.
That's where Lynn in the budget book comes in about the line act. That's really how specific it has to be.
Account number, right, what you were recommending for each change. So you can clearly vote on it.
I just have a question for clarity's sake. So I'm looking over these positions. I'm hung up on this OFA position because to me, it doesn't make sense. And I feel as though, I know Brenda talked about it yesterday. It appears that unlike a lot of positions in the county, right, she has a potential way to cover this. Was this position cut as sort of an approach to balancing the cuts throughout the departments?
No, I think, the department is responsible for the grants and the whole work, not just individual people in a department. And it was hoped that the work could be absorbed by other employees and they could still get the revenue into the department. As if somebody quit, or if somebody, you had a couple vacancies in the health department, could tell you what they've been struggling with. They've been having to do it all the time. And they'd have a lot of reimbursement also for their positions. But I think that's what we're hoping to try and downsize, as we were talking the other day. So we can keep paying the employees that work here fair wages to try and, spread the workload, maybe work some overtime, do some different things. I don't think it was thought that it wouldn't be difficult. I don't think anybody's thinking that. None of these are thought to be easy asks. I don't think.
Was it because it's not a mandatory department also, or no?
That may be part of it. I think a lot of the non-mandatory departments that all the services provided in it are not, so you're gonna do the best that you can. If you can't complete one of the grants, you're not gonna be required to do that because it's not a mandated services versus doing a case investigation and child took a, CPS investigation, you have to do that. Whether they have funding or they don't have funding, they're gonna have to do it.
And I think there was, if I'm not mistaken, consideration to make it from abolishing it or unfunding it to making it part-time in recognition that there was $40,000 of New York Connects money that is available to offset the cost of that position. So instead of having it go away, the compromise was 0.5.
But, we're not privy to that compromise. I'm not. So as I sit here and I'm looking at it and I listen, it just doesn't seem like it makes sense. So that's all. I'm just saying, like, we are getting reimbursement for that. It's a big position. It's consequential. So everyone's consequential. Everybody has big positions. I understand that too, but I'm also saying, like, we're in a situation with, trying to feed people right now across every demographic, everywhere. It just seems like, and we're also trying to take care of our most vulnerable populations, especially right now. And it seems as though our numbers of our elderly population just keep increasing so fast and so big. It seems like, to me, I don't know. It seems like just not one I would choose. I guess that's my opinion of it, and I could come up with my own idea of how to restore this when it comes time for me to do that.
Just a month or so presented some information about the demographic of homeowners who are taxpayers. And I think it was 57 to 60% homeowners in this county are over 60 years old. They're 60% of our tax money are coming in from this demographic. And growing.
And I find it's just, can I add, it's a $41,000 ad for that position to be replaced. Just to throw the number out there. And that includes us covering, we already cover half the credit with our regular funds.
Do you have more, Lynn?
No.
Any questions?
Ma'am?
Yeah.
You did forget about cooperative extension.
You're actually, I put him on the sheet for next week.
Oh.
But we can certainly talk about it since you're sitting here.
Okay.
That's fine.
You were next week. You were next week's staff.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know sometimes, unfortunately. So it's on page 7, that cooperative extension is page 7. Sorry, page 8. It's on the top of page 8. We did propose a reduction in the funding from 340,000 to 300,000.
You had a similar percentage cut that to soil and water, or who knows?
I wouldn't say that that's necessarily.
Not gonna have to fight about the libraries, right?
No, they're staying the same as in the 25 budget.
Right. Any other questions? Okay.
Okay.
No, okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move it. Second.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, take it back.
Take it back. I take it back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've gotten soft. You used to yell about, you're not on the committee.
Caffeine's wearing down.